Alright, my article covers a syntactic rule in forest monkey communication. Let's start with the introduction. The article provides insight into the grammatical features present in the species of monkeys' interpretation of calls produced by different species of monkeys located in the Thai forest in West Africa. The article looks into whether or not the vocalizations of the Diana monkey in response to the camel monkeys are considered an example of lexical syntax and attempts to prove it's not an instance of phonological syntax. Specifically, the experimenters predict that the reaction of the Diana monkey depends on what threat or scenario that the camel calls imply or mean about the nature of the threat. In order to perform the methods of the study, if they focused on the Diana monkeys and its capacity to understand the other species. The study was performed on 50 small groups made up of one male, several females, and offspring, who were not habituated to humans. They focused on recording whether or not these groups responded after hearing boom calls, a vocalization used to imply a threat that would only be of relevance to the camel monkey, produced by camel monkeys. They used 5 distinct recorded calls of camel monkeys that matched the vocalization graphs of predator alarm calls and mimicked the timing of the calls and recorded the response to the group of the calls. As you can see in figure 1, these are the diagrams of each of the 8 conditions where the stimuli provided to the Diana monkeys changed. 2 were baseline, where the Diana monkeys heard calls with no boom that signified the presence of either a leopard or an eagle, as can be seen in figure 2, where the alarm rate of the Diana monkey serves as a function of the different camel alarms with and without the preceding boom calls. There were 2 test conditions where the boom preceding the camel calls were played back. Playbacks of the Diana monkey alarm calls with and without the camel booms were used as the 4 control conditions. Zabuler ensured frequent calls were not considered abnormal and prevented habituation to calls by playing each call only once. They also made sure that there was no overlap between the groups by tracking their position with GPS. For the results, it was found that the Diana monkeys responded differently to different alarm calls from the different species, the camel monkeys and their own. The calls labeled booms were interpreted as having a specific meaning and modifying the following call, and that meaning was ignored when the booms were partnered with the Diana monkey calls. It was initially thought that the stimulus or boom calls were simply inhibiting the following signal, which would just be a structural understanding that was disproved when the apes heard the Diana calls they still responded as though there was no boom call. This study attempts to attend to the potential that alternatively, the subjects may simply attend to the acoustic features of the call rather than their meanings. The distinction that was difficult to discern in a previous study by Zabuler that looked at the responses to calls that were similar in semanticity or phonology. It supports the idea that it is natural for primates to be capable of producing what appears like syntax, which had previously been supposed to be possible only with large amounts of human intervention, such as in studies with the bonobo kazi, who can produce combinations of lexicograms and comprehend a significant fragment of English. For the results, the researchers were focusing on the reaction of the Diana monkey calls to the 4 variations of recorded camel calls along with the Diana calls. The camel booms alone provided no response, which was expected, showing them that the booms were not perceived as abnormal. The specific predator camel calls, which are the camel eagle alarms and the camel leopard alarms, provided the corresponding Diana call to that predator, except when they were preceded by a boom. The Diana monkey responded to their own species regardless of whether or not the booms were played, showing that they were simply not hearing the booms as an inhibitory signal, which was a theory that was proposed that, if it were true, would classify as an instance as a case of structural syntax. The classical control conditions show that Diana monkeys were able to differentiate the meaning of the boom vocalization as irrelevant when it occurred in the context of the Diana call. So, essentially, the main study of the article shows that the cognitive abilities necessary for syntax to evolve in a species without language can occur in nature. Nevertheless, the many studies into language and capabilities of the Diana monkey have shown that the presence of cognitive skills that were previously believed to be exclusively found in humans and revealed the shocking complexities to be found in the minds of species outside our own. Ta-da!